Welcome to Fit, Fierce, and Fearless, the award-winning podcast hosted by Zen. This show is part of the Gen X pole arts ecosystem, where pole dance, movement, and midlife rebellion meet. We talk strength, reinvention, and what it means to take up space as women over 40, both on the pole and off. If you're done playing small and you're ready to move through life with confidence again, you're in the right place. Let's go. Welcome to Fit, Fierce, and Fearless, episode 52. I am Zen. You guys know me. And today I have another gentleman polar. I know that we haven't had a ton of men on the podcast, but I'm looking for them high and low. And if you are on Instagram, you may know Karl from his Instagram account. He's the guy who's always, let's see, I've seen you on chains. I've seen you on
Mhm.
flying pole. I've seen you on pole. I believe I've seen you on hoop.
Very
I
much,
don't know
yeah.
if I've seen you on silks.
No, no, I
Okay.
never passed off silks
Me
in
neither.
foundations class. I couldn't climb.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I'm not a silks girl either. But anyway, Karl is amazing and is always putting himself out there and always trying new things and is a big inspiration to me. And a lot of times is outdoors. Today was just outdoors in the snow on the flying pole. Okay. I feel like you're kind of unstoppable, Karl. So
Or insane one,
sometimes one requires the other, right?
right?
Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'm really excited to have you here. I hope that you can introduce yourself better than I did to the audience. So, if you don't mind, please tell us about yourself.
Okay, you did a great job, by the way. Anytime anybody compliments me like that, I love it. But bit of an egomaniac too. So I am 74 and married. We have one kid, and I was probably a couch potato until about 8 years ago.
Uh-huh.
I went for a physical, and they told me I was pre-diabetic, and started me on metformin,
Hmm.
and that was in like November. And as I was driving around, I think I took my wife to work one day, and driving home, I saw that they were opening a Vasa about 2 miles from my house, a box gym. And so I signed up while they were still a trailer in the parking lot.
Okay.
And they opened on Valentine's Day of 2018. And I was there that day. Um, Totally clueless. And so I finally got a trainer and started doing stuff. And I've been going ever since to the gym. Then a few years ago, we went on a cruise. Well, back up a little. Somebody I follow on Facebook who lives about 60 miles from here talked one day about doing some circ stuff,
Mm.
aerial. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's pretty cool. Maybe I'll do it. And well, I found out that there's a studio 10 miles from my house.
Ah,
Um, but I never did anything about it. Originally I thought, okay, he's 60 miles away. That's probably where he's doing aerial.
yeah.
Not driving that far. But we went on a cruise over Christmas, and the entertainment was an aerialist duo. And
Mm.
we happened to be sitting next to them, near them at dinner one night. And I just said, you know what? I've been thinking about it, seeing you guys. I'm doing it. And so we came back home, and I went and signed up. And first I got a one class pass, and then
Yeah.
I got a punch card, for like 8 classes. And finally I said, okay, sign me up, just
Right.
charge my card monthly. I don't care.
Yep.
and and I went just to studio, the foundations, and it was, silk, hammock, and Lyra. And I never passed off on silk and stayed there for quite a while. Um, and that's at Cirque de Kairos. You may know Shay Williamson.
Mhm.
She's pretty active in the pole community and
Mhm.
uh, goes all over to judge competitions and
Uh-huh.
stuff for 'em. But so one of the instructors from the foundations class was teaching a pole class. And so finally I decided I would try it.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah. And he was kind of checking off another instructor, which was kind of cool. But so I went the next week, and it was not Rory teaching; it was Mary, and that was fine. And all of a sudden, she screamed at me and said, "You can't do that." And I said, "You just saw me. I The pole was on spin, and I was doing inverts."
In your second class?
Yeah. And she goes, "You just saw me do that." And she goes, "Yeah, but that's not appropriate for this level. You need." Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But Rory had told me, he said, "A lot of times with all this stuff, I can do what seems difficult, but the easy stuff, it takes me a while to get." And I said,
Mhm.
"Oh, that's probably the way I'm gonna be too."
Yeah.
So,
Why? Why is that? Why do you think?
I don't know, just my brain is backwards or something. But I don't know. But, so I do pull off and on, and we travel a lot, and I get busy, every once in a while there's recitals or something, and so
Uh-huh.
I'm practicing on the chains or in the hoop, and so I don't do much pole. So, and I've only done one pole dance class, and that, black lights, and
Okay.
those shoes were just way too much.
Oh, did you wear the shoes? Do you have
Oh, yeah. But but yeah, I don't, I'm not that bendy and not that flexible, and some of the dolphin moves, and the
Yeah,
flips and all that stuff, that just wasn't working for me.
yeah,
So, but I probably would do it again just for fun. But
yeah.
and now it was the third or fourth week that they'd been working on that combo, so I was way behind the power curve anyways.
Oh, yeah, coming into a class on, like, the 3rd or 4th week of the choreography is rough because
Yeah.
everybody's already comfortable with it and has, like, the
Uh-huh.
muscle memory, so
Yeah.
wow, okay. So, you weren't really physically active in your life when you were younger? Not until your
Um,
60s?
No, I was, the short, dumpy kid in school that the coach always made fun of because
Oh,
and used me as the example of how not to do it, because no
yeah.
matter what it was, I was not doing it right.
Right, and back then,
And
they could do that to kids, right?
yeah.
Like, they could
Yep.
yeah, humiliate you in front of your classmates. Yeah, that doesn't happen anymore, but for your generation and me, mine, yeah, that was very common,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
So then yeah, so no, I didn't do too much. Um, I quit drinking. Actually, today's my 48th anniversary of in recovery.
Oh, amazing,
But
congratulations. That's a
but
huge, huge
yeah,
accomplishment. Yeah, 48 years.
yeah. So yeah, a lot of the people that I hang out with, you've been sober longer than I've been alive.
Yes, really.
But shortly after that, my dance experience, because I wanted to get healthy. So
Mhm.
I signed up for tap and ballet and jazz classes, and
Oh,
lasted about a month. And I told the teacher, I said, "You'll never teach me to dance. If you can teach me to walk across the room without stumbling and tripping over my own
yeah.
feet, it'll be a success." But but other than that, other than cotillion in seventh grade, where every
Right.
other Friday night we went down and practiced ballroom dancing, and ended up going on one of the local TV shows, where dance party or something.
Yep, yep. I did that in the '80s. I was on one of those TV shows. We had Dance Party USA, we had Club MTV back in the day, like
Yeah,
American Bandstand, Soul
yeah,
Train, like, people were
yeah,
dancing on TV. I guess that
yeah,
I guess now that's people dancing on TikTok, right? We had it on
something
TV,
like that.
kinda.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But we didn't know how many people were following us on, when we just did it on TV. So
No.
we, you get the comments on TikTok and Instagram.
Right, right,
But
it's
but
different.
no, and then I was probably, then I joined the Air Force, um, after about a year, a little over a year of, after I stopped drinking, and, when I went to officer training school, they kind of insisted on running, and I
Oh, yeah.
hated it, and so finally they called me, the middle of our session. They said, "You really need to run more." So I set a goal for myself to just run as often and as much as I could until I got the 125 miles they required for Roadrunner,
Wow.
and hopefully go on marching waivers for the rest of the time. And I did
Yeah.
get blisters like that, and was bedridden on bed rest for 3 days.
Oh, wow. I mean, 125 miles. Wow, that's a lot.
But yeah, then it was, just the yearly, I didn't run a whole lot when I was in the Air Force, just, when the bare minimum to get by
Yeah.
for the annual fitness test, but no. So so yeah, until about 8 years ago when I decided I didn't want to take metformin anymore and I
Uh-huh.
joined the gym, and that's when I got active. So
That's fantastic. And did that reverse the prediabetes?
I stopped taking the metformin.
Amazing.
So
Yes,
yeah.
that's
So I'm
great. That's what we
uh,
all want, right? We all want to be able to age without having to take medication.
yeah.
I recently had um, blood work done and my cholesterol is high. And they did some kind of a test that determines whether or not it's due to hereditary factors or not. And they said it is not. So it's due to my weight and diet. And I was like, I don't know how much more I can work out. Like, I don't know how much more strenuously I can be active. So it's really interesting the things your body does as you get older, and you're like, what's going
Yeah,
on?
I take cholesterol medicine and high blood pressure,
Mm,
several
yep,
things. But
yep,
yeah,
yep. And we just keep going, right?
yeah,
So, what's your favorite apparatus?
chains.
Chains. Uh-huh.
I went
Masochist.
to I went to a specialty apparatus class because I had seen somebody on the spiral
Oh,
on
that thing
Instagram.
is so cool. I have not done that yet. Have
It
you done
is
that yet?
fun.
You've done it.
Yeah, it's fun. And so I reached out to the person that teaches specialty and I said, "Hey, does Kairos have one of these?" And so she put it on the schedule for the next month. But she also had chains up, and I tried the spiral and it was fun, but
Mhm.
I liked the chains. And
Yeah.
in fact, I performed twice on them.
Oh,
Um,
oh yeah,
yeah,
I saw one of your performances. Yeah.
and the dinosaur suit or the clown suit.
I think it was the clown. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, to send
dinosaur.
in the clowns, yeah, and
Yes.
then I did Johnny Cash song, "Beans for Breakfast," but I did that with the dinosaur suit.
I have to look for that one.
You know, yeah, why not?
Exactly. Why not? So you started all of this. Wait, so you went to the gym 6 years ago, and then
8
how
years
long?
ago. 8
8 years
years
ago,
ago now.
and then you
Yeah,
started aerial. How many years after the gym?
it was just 3 years ago.
Three. You've only been doing this for 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, you've come a long way in 3 years.
Sometimes I wonder, but, I
Yeah.
keep reminding myself that I am Karl and not some of these 20-year-olds.
Yeah. I know. I know. We have to remind ourselves not
Yeah,
to compare, right?
yeah,
Yeah. And everybody goes at their own pace. Even it doesn't matter your age. I think everybody's journey with the aerial apparatuses and whether it's pole or Lyra or whatever chains, like some people just pick certain things up. And like you said, sometimes the harder things come faster to some people, but they don't master the basics.
yeah.
It's just, everybody's kind of journey is like it's not linear. It's like up and down. And so I try to remember that too, because sometimes I'm like, why do I feel like I'm stuck at a level?
Yeah. I don't know. The other night, last week, I did an intro pole class just because I haven't done a pole class in a while. I haven't,
Yeah.
other than my flying pole out in the backyard, I really haven't done anything. And I said, let's do the Buddha sit. You know, that's painful.
Oh,
And, oh, okay. But I can do that on my flying pole. So, you
yeah,
know, and it's a lot easier on silicone than it is on metal.
I agree. The silicone just feels nicer. It's got a little tiny bit of give to it, so it's not
Well, they
as
don't slide as much. I
and they
mean,
don't slide.
because I did open pole last night and I tried to do it and I'm just sliding down and I'm going, okay, how come I can do this on the other one and not here? So
Mhm.
I didn't have enough grip. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that could do it. or if you had like lotion on your skin or took a shower, whatever. There's so many things make us slippery. It's not
Yeah,
fair. But I love the flying pole too. It's fun. I don't get to play around on it as often as I would like, but yeah, I like how it's sticky.
yeah. I wish I had the bigger rigging in my backyard, then I could use the whole thing, Mine comes in 3 sections,
Hmm.
and if I put the 3rd one on, I've gotta dig down about another foot and a half, a whole foot down in the ground, or I'm just bumping there, so,
Yeah,
but,
the rig I
it's
have is also not too tall. I think it's like a 10 foot rig or
yep,
something. So
yeah, 10 or
yeah,
11, yeah. Which
but
seemed like a lot until you realize, but by the time you get all the extra hardware and stuff down there,
yep,
it's just not quite enough, especially with the Lyra.
I know.
Either it's high enough that I can do stuff on the bottom, or it's touching the ground so I can do stuff on the top.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's a bummer, but it's better than nothing. I
Yeah.
still like to go out and play around.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
So when you started doing this 3 years ago, how like what was your so you were on the cruise and that kind of inspired you when you saw the performers on the cruise, and what did your family think?
Um, my wife's used to me doing crazy
Yeah,
stuff, so yeah.
I love it. So this is not out of character for you at all.
No, 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 no. And my son he just shrugs and gives up.
Yeah.
So he's 29. He lives at home. He works nights, so he lives at the house. So it's really nice to have him around because the wife and I are both technologically challenged. So
Yeah.
when our computers and phones do things that we tell it to without, instead of doing what we want it to do,
Right.
he's there to dig us out of the hole.
Yeah,
So
you have your own IT guy.
yep. So keep
um
those kids close to you.
That's cool. That's great. So yes, okay. So this seems like it's been your pattern to do things maybe against the grain. So nobody was surprised.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So I know you and I were talking a little bit before we started recording about just the aging process and how so many people kind of just resign themselves to a sedentary life after a certain age rather than going after things because they seem maybe scary or challenging or just the unknown, right? Out of their comfort zone. Even though it might be intriguing, it's harder as you get older. And the older you get, I think the harder it becomes to just walk into an aerial studio like you did. You obviously had something in you that was internally motivating and you didn't care about what anybody thought. And it doesn't seem like you have self imposed limitations that hold you back. But I think a lot of people do. And so, one of my goals with the podcast, as you know, is to try to encourage people and inspire people as they're getting older to just do the thing. Like, what is the thing? Is it aerial? Is it painting? Is it singing, acting? Like, I don't know. But what is the run a marathon? That's not
No.
that's not for me.
And I know you're a marathoner, but from way back. But
From way back. I don't like running. But yeah, so I don't know. Maybe you could just talk a little bit about that.
I my parents were both in their 90s when they passed away. My dad in September of 2019, and my mom in March of 2020,
Wow.
and we went back for her funeral to New York, and then we got back the day we got back to Utah. Is the day they said, "Oh, soft closure for the schools because of COVID."
Oh, wow.
So, but so I figure I've got some time ahead of me. And the thought of just sitting on the couch doing nothing just scares me.
Uh-huh.
And I've sent you I sent you a picture of the MRI that I had of my back,
Yeah.
and my chiropractor said, if you just sat around and did nothing, your back would get so much worse. You would be in so much more pain. You would be on a walker. And I'm thinking that just doesn't sound like the life that I want.
Right.
My dad was still walking 5 miles a day when he was 85 years old. Um, he was 90 and in assisted living, and if somebody didn't show up to take him to the nursing home where my mother was, he would walk,
Wow.
a mile and a half. So
Wow.
so I kind of wanna have that, you know, as part of my legacy.
Mhm.
I just figure I can sit on the couch and die now and wait 20 years to stop breathing so they can bury me,
Right.
but that doesn't sound like a lot of fun.
No.
My pulmonologist says, "Keep doing what you're doing." My doctor says, "I don't have patients your age that do things you do." I
Uh-huh.
beg them to go to the mall and walk, you know?
Yeah.
So everybody seems to think that activity is good for older people,
Yeah.
and,
Who knew, right? No, I'm
yeah,
just kidding.
really.
Of
Yeah.
course it is.
But but it starts so young. I mean, I'll be at the gym and I get, "Okay, can I ask you a question?" And I know what the question is. "How old are you?" And I
Yeah.
tell them, and it's like, "Why are you doing all this stuff? When I'm your age, I'm gonna be sitting on the couch." And these are 25, 30-year-olds.
Yeah.
And that is their goal in life, to be 70 years old and sitting on the couch.
Right.
Uh, okay, whatever. But I think this is more fun.
Right. Yeah, that's not a very
Yeah.
great aspiration. Well, I'm happy to show I'll try to show the images from your MRI. If let's see if it works. Okay, everybody. I hope you're watching and not just listening because these images, when Carl sent them to me, I was like, wow, are you in a lot of pain? Okay, I could do one at a time. So here we go. So what happened to your back?
Um, I just was recently told I had scoliosis. When I was in the Air Force, I was stationed in Korea, and on my mid-tour leave, I traveled all over that part of the world. But coming back to the site, because I was up on a mountain top, we were closer to Pyongyang than Seoul. Um, it was a half-hour helicopter ride or a 4-hour truck ride to get to Seoul. Um, but the helicopter crashed, so that may have had something to do with it. I wasn't
Wow.
the pilot, but um,
Wow.
so
So you survived a helicopter crash.
yeah, yeah,
Amazing.
and,
So
and car accidents, and water skiing. Water is very hard when you
water,
fall when you're skiing. Yeah, if
yes.
you're water skiing and you fall, water is hard. So
Wow. Okay. So first of all, thank you for your service. Um, I know several service members who are in the pole community now, men and women. So I'm so thankful for you. But I just did an episode with Lauren Hill like 4 or 5
a couple of weeks,
episodes ago.
yeah, a few weeks ago, yeah,
Yeah, and her father survived a plane crash.
yeah, yeah, and that's
Amazing.
what inspired her. She wants to be in the air,
Yes, she
flying,
wants to
yeah,
be in the air.
and she's starting pilot's training. That's
And
great.
yes, you see, Carl, thank you for listening to the podcast. I appreciate it. But that's so interesting. So before I talked to her about that, I had never known anybody or heard of anybody who had survived a plane crash. And now you surviving a helicopter crash. It's like, wow, okay. That's that is remarkable. Not too many people can say that, Carl.
No. Well, there were 6 of us on that one, and we all survived, and when
That's
it
great.
finished burning, they could pick up what was left and put it in a dumpster, so,
Wow. Amazing. So, okay. So sorry, I totally went on a tangent. So you're back. So you had some trauma to your back with that and car
yeah,
accidents and jet ski accidents. And then you said you just found out you also have scoliosis.
yeah,
Um,
and
so,
degenerative disc. My chiropractor said, "If those discs were the size they're supposed to be, you'd be 3 inches taller," and
mm,
and I have shrunk several inches since I was in the Air Force. Yeah.
yeah. And I think that's common as we age too. So, unfortunately, but our bodies, there's wear and tear, especially if you're an active person who's done a lot of things, we put our bodies through stuff. So I always have pain. But yeah, so when I asked you about that, when you emailed those images to me and I said, "Are you in pain?" And I think your answer was always when
Yeah,
I'm not moving, right?
yeah, yeah, most of the time, yeah. Some days it's just worse than others.
Mhm. But
Yeah.
when you're moving and you're doing the chains and you're doing the um, the hoop and the flying pole and everything, you feel like you can move, you feel good. What does it feel like for you?
It's doesn't hurt as much, and I'm focused on something else. So,
Yeah.
anytime you can take your mind off the negative, then,
Mhm.
it seems to not be as bad.
Yeah.
But this morning, and I put it on Facebook. I used to love Rice Krispies. You put the sugar in the milk and it's that snap, crackle, pop. Well, that's what I sounded like getting out of bed this morning. And, so and one of my cousins said, "Oh yeah, you got the crispy concerto," and I said, "Oh, what a great stage name that would be."
Yes. That's hilarious. That's great. Crispy concerto. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like different joints. I'm creaky. I'm not near your I mean, yeah, I'm not that far behind you, almost 20 years, but I got the creaking already. I think that's
Yeah,
from running. I blame running for everything that's wrong with my body.
you
It's
have to
from
have
running.
something to blame it
Yeah,
on,
it's
right?
running's fault. It's running all the running on all the concrete and the cement and the asphalt, like ugh,
Mhm.
bad.
Yeah, when the Air Force switched and you could do the bike instead of running, one of the flight surgeons told me, he said, "You're gonna be so glad when they implement this new fitness test because you won't have to run for it."
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Cycling is way better, easier on your
yeah,
body, just general, because you don't have the impact.
right.
Yeah. So how do you train? Like, what is your routine for training between the gym and the studio?
Ooh, it kind of is different every week. I also do some acting and some modeling, and we travel a lot, so I never know when I'm around. And of course, at my age, doctor's appointments
Yeah.
take a big chunk of time.
Uh-huh.
I normally go. I'm generally at the gym 5 or 6 days a week.
Wow.
Um, I do. Studio Red, which is one of the specialty classes Voss offers, which is a hit style. There's it's a 45-minute thing. There's 9 minutes on the bike and 9 minutes on the treadmill,
Uh-huh.
9 minutes on the TRX rack and kettlebells and slam balls, and another 9 minutes on the bench. And so you got dumbbells and stuff. So I do that generally 3 times a week. Several times a week, I'll be there doing my own thing, which may be box jumps and that was another Instagram thing that got me a lot of negative comments when I went with my oxygen tank because I was coming off pneumonia, and
Oh.
people tried to tell me that I should be home in bed,
Uh-huh.
and my doctors are saying, "No, go for it." You were one of those people that should not stay in bed just because you had pneumonia. That will give you blood clots and all sorts of other fun
Mm.
stuff. So, for some people, that's good advice. For me, not so much. But a lot of times, stair stepper, um, not the rower. I
Mhm.
really like the rowing machine.
Mhm.
I have anti-gravity boots, and so a lot of times I just hang upside down and do crunches and lift weights that way. Um, and 2 or 3 times a week, I try to get to Kairos. Um, Sometimes that works more than others.
Mhm.
Um, and then, of course, I have the stuff in the backyard, so I try and play out there a lot if the weather permits.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's a lot. You just talked about a lot of time and a lot of different activities. I like to do the circuit kind of training as well, like where you're doing the hit class and you're
mhm,
going from activity to activity. I like that. But you're doing a lot. So you're doing cardio and you're doing weight
it's,
training, you're training strength. Do
yeah.
you do any kind of flexibility training or stretching,
Um,
yoga?
a I do yoga once in a while. Um, they have s they have Studio Flow or something, one of the things, it's a yoga class at Vasa, and I don't I don't enjoy it that much. It's too hot to be comfortable and not hot enough where I feel like I get the benefit like hot yoga.
Yeah.
But there is a place right around the corner from me that there is being built now, and it is the future home of a power yoga studio. So I'm
Oh.
really anxious to try that. Um, and I do go to some private yoga classes once in a while. So
Mhm.
if they don't get canceled, because frequently I'm the only one that signs up for them. People don't seem to want to do that fun stuff, you know. Painful.
Well, yeah, you strike me as a power yoga guy. So you probably love that versus the not so hot yoga, the
Yeah,
warm, tepid yoga. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. If it's not really
And
hot, it's not helpful.
but like today, just to do weird stuff. I mean, I went to the gym this morning for a hit class, but then I went out and well, you saw the video on the pole out there in the snow. But I also went out a little bit earlier doing push-ups in the snow because I try and do that once a year. Um,
Oh,
I
you are
love
an
cryotherapy.
extremist. You're like an extreme guy. You should have been in the X Games, like on a
Yeah.
skateboard or BMX bike, like in a half pipe doing jumps or something.
I I haven't been on a skateboard since I was stationed in Korea, like the early '80s, and I was at a remote site, and I
Uh,
made friends with one of the Korean controllers, and so a lot of times, if we had days off together, he would invite me to go with him, go home with him, and stay with. But we'd go skateboarding through the streets of Seoul,
cool.
and the rule there is the biggest vehicle has the right of way. If it has if it has a wheel, it's a vehicle.
Yeah.
So, skateboard was not at the top of the food chain.
Yeah, no, not at all. But that sounds like fun. So you are no stranger to extreme activity and taking a risk. And I think that's really cool.
It's
And
fun.
it is fun. Makes life interesting, right? And like you said, the idea of growing older and sitting on the couch indoors, like, yeah, that also is not appealing. That sounds terrifying to me.
And when you do that, and if you get into that too early, then your later years become, I wish when I still could,
Yeah.
I had done this, or I had gone here, or I'd seen this. And so my son and I went skydiving back in August, I guess, and I went again a few weeks later, looking
Uh-huh.
forward to spring so I can go again. Um,
Amazing. Was that your
I,
first time?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I love scuba diving. Finally got to go dive the Great Barrier Reef a few
Oh,
years ago,
wow.
but I really want to do the cage diving with the great whites, so, but
Crazy.
yeah, but it's just I, I love scuba diving when there's sharks around. They are just such beautiful creatures,
Yeah.
and to be that close to them in their habitat is
Uh-huh.
just amazing.
That's beautiful. Um, I don't need to be with the sharks though. I love the water. I was always a swimmer. Like I grew up as a competitive swimmer and I live near the beach and I have a pool and I just am a water person. But when it comes to the big animals that are in the ocean, I don't want to see them. I don't want them near me. Like just stay. I like to be on the beach and see the whales and the dolphins and everything, jumping
Yeah,
because we're lucky here in Los Angeles. We can see that from the beach. But yeah, I don't want to be in the water near
yeah.
them. But that's good for you, Carl. I can't
I
wait to see the video or live through
when
your video.
when I was stationed on Guam, I was working on Dive Master, and so I was helping in a dive shop. And frequently at 10 o'clock, after classes, and we'd cleaned up and filled tanks. Somebody said, "Let's go diving." So we'd head out, and you know, 10, 11 o'clock at night, and go for a dive. And frequently I would just carry a bag because a lot of them would go with their spear guns and
Yeah.
go hunting, and I would just carry the fish. But the
Wow.
sharks were always circling around. So.
Wow. That sounds like a nightmare to me. Being in the deep ocean in the dark, surrounded by sharks. Like, this is a good setting for a movie. You need to write about this.
All right. I have some friends that do write scripts. Maybe I'll talk to one of them about that. Yeah.
Right. That'd be great. Terrifying. That's so many people's phobias wrapped into one story.
All the people that are too young to have appreciated Jaws when it first came
Oh yeah,
out.
exactly. I think that's why. That's why I'm
Yeah.
so terrified because I saw Jaws how many times when I was like 8 years old or something. Yes. Oh my goodness. Terrible. That's funny. So Is there anything that you would say from your experience and your journey, as we like to say, with aerial, that you've discovered about yourself that maybe you hadn't learned through all these other experiences that you've had, which were also very daring and, not necessarily mainstream?
Um, part of it, Kairos, their big motto is, um, what is it? Circus is for everybody. Not everybody is in the whole world, but everybody.
Yeah.
And there's so much of, I'm too old. I'm not the right. I don't have the long legs. I'm not bendy. I'm not flexible. But so many people that have so many different body types are all doing this stuff
Hmm.
and having fun. And I found it is one of the least judgmental places I have ever been in my life.
Uh-huh.
Um, Cirque people just seem to enjoy being with the Cirque people, and there's no condemnation, there's no judgment. I've been really lucky at Cirque de Kairos. The instructors are all incredible, and they're so patient with me, and I apologize. When I'm in a class and I'm 50 years older than everybody else in the class,
Yeah.
and they watch something once and are doing it and adding to it,
Hmm.
and I'm sort of, okay, I need to do this like 40 times before it sets into my brain.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember. I was doing something at Straps class the other night, and I got the first part of the combo. Everybody else was like doing the fourth and fifth part,
Yeah.
and I'm still in the first part. But the instructors just are so incredibly full of grace,
Mhm.
and it's been amazing. It's just been an amazing journey to um, to do all this stuff that I never dreamed that I would be able to do.
Right.
Especially growing up, like I said earlier, the short, dumpy kid that
Right.
the coach always made fun of.
Yeah.
So that kept me out of gyms and anything. I hate sports, because that was my exposure to it.
Right.
So this is so totally different, and there's no age. In fact, people have commented on some of my Instagram posts about how much I I just transcend all the stereotypes for people on pole. You
Hmm.
know, I'm a heterosexual male. I'm old. I'm not a stripper. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm not.
Yeah.
It's for everybody,
Yeah.
and it's good for the core, it's good upper body, good legs. I mean, there is just so much benefit that I've gotten out of it, and I have horrible lungs, so climbing on the pole is, kills me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they do 2 on each side, and I'm going, "Okay, I'm lucky if I can get 1 on one side," and
Yeah.
then I have to use my inhaler. But,
Yeah. But you're doing it anyway.
of course.
Yeah.
So, I find that if I'm willing to push myself a little bit and let the instructors push me,
Hmm.
because a lot of times I get to the point where, no, I know I can't do that. And they're saying, yes, you can. I've
Yeah.
seen you do harder stuff. So let's just take it a little slow, do it one step at a time.
Mhm.
And I thought, oh, wow, yeah, I did that. And I don't know how. There is absolutely no reason that somebody with my back, my lungs, and my age should be doing half of the stuff that I do,
Right.
and but it's fun,
Yes.
and it just takes me out of self. I can forget the world and all the craziness that's going on,
Hmm.
and just have fun. And and then when I post it, and people are get wide eyed and make the comments that, I mean, there's some negative ones, obviously, but I tend to ignore those.
Yeah.
But there's so many positive comments about, and you said something about being an inspiration, and so many people. I'm showing this to my father because
Right.
he sits on the couch all day. I'm
Yes.
showing this to my grandmother. She needs to know that people her age can do stuff like this because
Yes.
she's afraid to, and 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 I think that's why I post as much as I do. I
Yes.
mean, before it was progress pictures, but now it's because people tell me how much it's helped them and it's helped their family members.
Yes.
And so I can it's helping somebody else. And that is not why I did it. I want to just have a good time.
Right.
You had a session one time on goals,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and I got thinking. I said, my goals, for Ariel and stuff, is to have fun and
Mhm.
not die.
Right.
So
Right. I think you left that comment.
yeah,
Yes. And that's true, right? That always was my only goal too. Like, I'm just wanting to see how much I could do, have a good time, yeah, and not get
mhm,
hurt.
yeah, and so I do what I can do, and if I can't do as much as everybody else in the class, that's all right too.
Yeah,
Um, I don't have to.
right.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm me.
everyone's journey
I'm,
is
I'm
different.
sure if I were to come to your studio, I wouldn't be able to do most of the stuff that you were demoing, at least the first day.
Yes,
I
right,
had to
yeah.
go through it several times, but that's okay
Mhm.
because it gets me out. It gets me. There's a whole tribe,
Yeah,
of different tribes in different places,
yeah,
but the Cirque tribe is just so much fun. I don't know. It's been a real life changer. It allows me to enjoy life in so many different ways just because of the stuff that I'm learning in the aerial studio. So,
I love it.
and listening to podcasts because it's so incredible. And, and I was talking to somebody at the gym yesterday, and she goes, I gained a lot of weight when I had my baby 2 years ago. So I'd really like to try pole, but I don't think I could. And I said, "Oh, you'd be surprised at the people, that are your size and larger."
Yeah,
On the podcast that I listened to this podcast, and I told her about yours, and at the studio. I mean, people of all shapes and sizes are doing it.
yes,
And if pole doesn't work for them, they do chair dancing or
yes,
they do Lyra or so many different things.
yes. It's true. Well,
So,
thank you for recommending the podcast. I cannot thank you enough for that. But, yeah, it's so true, everything you're saying, the community part of it, and I love, when I started the podcast, I was primarily talking to people in the Los Angeles or California, Southern California area. But now that we're on episode 52, I've spoken to people from all over the world, and the stories about community are the same. And and like you said, Cirque people just like to be around other Cirque people. And I think that hits the nail on the head. Like, we recognize something in one another that is comfortable. Like,
mhm.
we're instantly comfortable around somebody else who does aerial or pull. I don't know why, but it's a cool feeling when you can walk into an aerial gym or a studio pole studio, and you just feel like you could breathe. You just feel like, okay, like no one's judging me. And I have a group of people here who, if I don't understand something, I'm going to ask somebody, someone's going to lend me a hand. Like, it's pretty amazing. And I always like to emphasize too that it's very different than going to a class at the gym or a yoga class where you don't really engage so much with the other people that you're in class with. You all just do your workout and go home. When you're doing
Mhm.
aerial or you're doing pole, there's interaction between people too. Um, Sometimes we commiserate with one another.
Yeah.
We can't figure it out, or I can't get it, or whatever.
Hey, have you seen this bruise I got yesterday? This pole kiss that I got, or this
Y-
this chain nibble.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
and the other cool thing about it is, people that I probably would never associate with otherwise. I might not even
Right.
meet,
Yeah.
uh, but school teachers and doctors
Yep.
and business people, and people do so many come from so many different backgrounds, but yet we have this one common bond that kind of ties us together, and you
Yep.
know it's so great to walk in and hey, would you mind taking a minute, holding the camera and doing the video while I do this, so I
Yep.
can see how I've changed from last week or if I've
Right.
gotten any better or anything. But and
Very
everybody's just so willing to help with everything. So
exactly.
if you can do a move a little bit better than I am, and the instructor is busy, say, okay, remind me what I'm doing here, and it's
Mhm.
and nobody ever says, oh no, because we're competing, and if I
No.
help you, then you might be better than me, and but
Yep.
it's just we're it's like a family the way it's supposed to, a functional family.
Right.
As
Yes.
opposed to the dysfunction that exists so often in many families.
Yep, you're right. You called it a tribe, and I think that's another accurate way to describe it. And I think that's something for me as my kids got older, and so I wasn't really involved with like the other parents anymore at the school. And I'm self-employed now, doing Gen X pole art, so I'm not going to an office in my corporate job anymore. You kind of lose having a community as you get older unless you go look for a community. It's hard to
Right.
make friends when you get older, and then sadly people who, people start passing away, and like your contemporaries, it shrinks, people move away, they retire, they go to the sun, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
you're like, oh well, now what do I do? So I think
Yeah.
it's such a blessing and a really cool thing to be your age or my age and have this community of people who are all ages too. That's the other neat thing
Keeps me
about it.
young.
Yeah,
Yeah, being around
right.
younger people keeps me young.
Yeah, and there's
And
always somebody you could call somebody, text somebody, DM somebody or something if you need something. Like even if it's not related to pole or area, like I know that, somebody, if I really need something, one of these people is going to be there for me.
yeah,
And that's, I
yeah,
can't imagine anything better.
yeah. You mentioned that having somebody. I It's just so much more rewarding for me, so much more fun to go to the aerial studio than it would be to go to a senior center and
Right.
sit around with other people sitting around. Oh, we can do organ recitals. This hurts and but I don't want to do that. But what you said about harder to make friends, the power strips where you got like 6 or 8 different plugs,
Yeah.
but somebody once described, our friendship. We have a limited number of relationships at each level, expanding level, and so those close friends are maybe 6 or 8, and it's
Mhm.
like that power strip. Well, you can't make any more unless you remove somebody from that,
Mhm.
unplug one thing to plug in something else. And so that becomes part of the reason we have longtime friends, and until one dies, moves away, or, you get in a fight over something,
Yep.
then, you don't have room for it anymore.
Yeah.
And so it does become harder and harder. Whereas when we're younger, and it just seems to be easy and it's very fluid.
Mhm.
But as we get older and set in our ways, we don't want to change things.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I haven't heard that analogy. That's interesting. Um, the other thing that you mentioned was, well, we talked about it a little bit, a couple times, but the remembering, like learning the steps to the trick or the spin or the move or the choreography or whatever. I takes me a while to learn something too. And I think that that's another, I love to solve problems. Like my brain loves to work on things like that, like solving a problem. And I think that in my day-to-day life, there's a ton of that. I used to do a lot of analytics in my job in the corporate
Mhm.
world. I did data and analytics. And so I liken it to that. Like when I'm trying to figure out, how do I get my leg there? How am I supposed to reach around, which arm goes where when I turn the hoop this way, and I think that it helps keep my brain a little bit sharp than if I was, again, just like
Right.
scrolling on my phone or watching a movie on TV where my brain just goes like "Zzz,"
Yeah.
you know so I think that's another benefit to what we
Yeah.
do besides the obvious.
Yeah. Well, staying active is so good for the body, mind, and soul. I mean,
Absolutely.
there's
um
just no doubt about it.
you're living proof right here. And on that note, I'm going to have to cut us off, but is there anything else that you want to say as parting words or cover that we didn't get to?
First of all, a big shout out to Cirque de Kairos. There's two studios. One of them is about 20 minutes north of me and the other 20 minutes south. So I take advantage of that. But if you ever get to the Salt Lake area, please come check us out
Yeah,
at Cirque
and I could
de
put the
Kairos.
link in the description, the show
Yeah,
notes too. Yeah,
yeah.
just send me that.
Anybody in the area, if you haven't tried aerial yet, owe it to yourself. It's just so much fun. And if you don't like it, you can go back to sitting on the couch and
Right.
binge watching General Hospital or something. But but it's so much fun. But the other thing is, I just can't imagine just growing old and not having lived. And so I don't know. Anytime I have a chance to do something new, something exciting, and I would just encourage anybody, you know, the instructors at the different studios I've been at have always been so helpful and so willing to work with people where we are.
Yeah.
And you know, try it. I mean, don't be afraid of it. It may not be for you. You may try it and not like it, but you may find a new love and a new hobby. And
Yeah.
there's so many benefits to just being active. It just, like I said, body, mind, and soul. It's good for you.
Yes.
So try it out if you haven't. And I hope
Right.
to see you in Utah someday. Maybe I'll even get to LA.
Yeah, come to LA. I love Utah. I used to go, I was lucky enough in my career that there was a conference in Deer Valley every winter in December when they opened the resort. And
Yeah,
so, and I used to get, a boondoggle basically from work would be paid for, and we'd stay at the Stein Eriksen Lodge. And oh my God, so spoiled. Now I don't have those perks anymore.
yeah,
But I will take this over corporate life any day.
really.
But thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You are an inspiration to me and so many people. I, you're like one of those people when I go on my feed and you pop up, I never know what it is you're going to be doing. Like what?
Neither do I.
So I love being surprised. And sometimes I even chuckle a little bit like, he's just crazy. So thank you for that because you brighten my day and you don't even
Oh,
know it.
thank you
Yeah,
for saying that.
of
Thank you.
course. You're welcome.
And and I just hope I can keep doing stuff that inspires other people to at least try something out of the ordinary.
Yes, just try it. Whatever is that nagging thing in the back of your mind saying, oh, I wish I did this. I wish I could do this. I wish I was younger, skinnier, more fit. No, just go try whatever the thing is because what do you have to
Yeah.
lose? Really?
And
Nothing.
stop worrying about what other people think, because
Bingo.
there's always, because if you're looking for somebody to be negative, you'll find them.
Yep. Yep.
Because there's plenty of people out there that don't have anything better to do than criticize people for doing something that they can't, but they would like to.
Right. The more
So,
of us that just go do those things, the less of those people there will be. You got to get
yeah,
those people to actually stop being so afraid of life and just try stuff. They'll feel
yes, try.
better.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks so
Karl.
much. Thanks. I'm so glad you found me on Instagram and
Me
invited me to be on your podcast. It's been
too.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. Thank you. And thank you all for listening. I will put a link to Karl's Instagram too in the show notes. Leave a comment. You can also DM me or DM Karl if you have questions. I'll make sure that he gets them if you don't find him yourself. So thank you. Be well, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye bye. Take care. Thanks again.
Thanks for listening to Fit, Fierce, and Fearless. If this episode moved you, please share it, subscribe, and leave a review. This podcast is part of the Gen X Pole Arts community, which is built for women over 40 who are using movement, pole dance, and courage to rewrite the rules of midlife. Until next time, stay strong, stay curious, and stay unapologetically you.